All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you for wherever you are in the world at whatever time you might be watching this broadcast. This is the Wednesday morning edition of Systems Summits broadcast, and we're going to play a little video for you. All right, and we are back. This is Stan Shields. I am your host today for our show, and with me is Dr. Victoria Boyd of the Philantrepreneur Foundation. So say good morning, Dr. Boyd.
Good morning, everybody, wherever you might be watching us from. I'm so glad this is the launch of our System Summit show, and I think we have a lot of great information today and in the future. So I hope everybody will come back every week for our show.
Awesome. All right, now, before we dive too much into the show here, so wherever you're watching from, make sure that you go and either like or follow or subscribe depending on which channel you're on, because you might be seeing this on Facebook or YouTube. We're only on Facebook and YouTube, so we're not on Periscope today. But if you're on either of those channels, then make sure that you like, follow, or subscribe, whatever makes most sense. If you're watching the video, make sure you like the video. We'd appreciate that. That's the only way that YouTube knows that people actually like the content and will then begin to show it to other people as well. So make sure you do that for us. So today we're going to be talking about cause marketing. And what I'm going to do is ask Dr. Boyd to go in and just talk a little bit to us about what is cause marketing, and then maybe even why would businesses want to participate in cause marketing.
Okay, well, let me give you a little bit of background of how I became so enthusiastic about cause marketing and how I even got into that space. Many years ago, well, I've been an educator and worked in the performing arts arena, so have been involved with many nonprofits all along. But what I discovered when I was working for a pretty large nonprofit organization, I was sent to a conference in Chicago, and it was about cause marketing. At the time, they called it meaningful marketing. They were trying to make a shift, and they dealt with huge properties like stadiums and things like that. But there were thousands of people there from different sectors, and I really learned the research and the background of the value of cause marketing. Moving forward, fast forward to about 2012, I had been teaching at UNLV as a nonprofit management instructor, and I kept hearing myself over and over again, even though you're in philanthropy, you have to think like an entrepreneur. And that is how in my mind, the term Philantrepreneur, which is the name of our foundation, the Philantrepreneur Foundation, it's a 501c3 nonprofit. And through that, I do extensive training to the nonprofit sector, but I did and started crossing over that double line to help businesses understand why engaging in community support, partnerships, collaborations was good for their business. And it all boiled down to cause marketing. The roots of what I teach and what I do come from that conference that I went to years ago. But I really, through extensive research, discovered that it is a tool that every business should be using, especially because of the era that we're in right now. We're in what is called a we era. And there's two eras that society shifts back and forth between. It's called we and me. It changes every 40 years. We are in the heart of a we era, and people want to be connected to a community. That's why Facebook and all of those social media platforms exploded. In terms of cause marketing, it's taking and thinking strategically about what your business does, who the target audience is, and then making alignments with certain causes in the community that align with it. Now, yes, there's many organizations that their leaders or they just pick something that is a passion to their heart, but doesn't really align with what their business represents. By really using cause marketing strategically, you go through a full process of alignment, then impact investing, and then finally meaningful marketing. And I created an entire platform that maps that out for System Summit and the Philantrepreneur Foundation. So that's just it in a nutshell, but it's a marketing strategy. It's actually a business growth strategy that will impact your customer base, your credibility, and your profits, your return on investments.
Now, that sounds like something that is great for big companies, but how does that work for micro businesses? I mean, that sounds like, because you think of big companies, we see that all the time with large companies that are heavily involved with some cause, whether
Absolutely.
and so we see that all the time. But for smaller businesses, how does that work?
Absolutely. There's different strategies, but yes, absolutely. Big corporations have the money to invest in those marketing campaigns. You see it in the commercials all the time. You see where, for example, the Target will, instead of talking about buy pencils and paper here, it says we support schools.
Mm-hmm.
Where Dove, the soap, used to show a bar of soap filling up and how it's so kind to your skin. They now talk about women and self-esteem and girls and things like that. They supporting campaigns like that. And so they have made the shift by investing their own money. But with small businesses, you can do the same thing, but you do it once again strategically by finding an outside entity that aligns with what you want. And that's why I'm so excited about System Summit and the Philantrepreneur Foundation, because for speakers, we seek speakers that have products and services that support micro businesses. Our target audience for System Summit is micro businesses. Okay, there's an alignment. Hey, guess what? The Philantrepreneur Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization with a mission to build capacity through education, awareness, and resources. As a speaker, guess what? You are the resource and you're providing education and awareness for tools and strategies that will support micro businesses. Have you invested a dime? No, these are your products and services that you already have. And so you're using your speaking skills. You create a presentation just like you would with any marketing plan. How are you going to present your products and services? And you become a speaker, a presenter with educational content with System Summit. You haven't invested a dime, but the great part of it, we then give you the tools to create an aligned marketing campaign. We provide you with swipe copy for both emails, newsletters, and social media. We give you what is called a promotional deck where you're promoted or the whole summit is promoted. But we provide you the tool as a partner. And so now you have not invested cash money like the big corporations do. You're investing strategically in a marketing campaign that you would already do anyway, but your message changes. And a lot of that is what is in the video that's on our website. But your message changes to, I support the Philantrepreneur Foundation because of what it does. And I'm a proud speaker at there. I'm presenting on. And so now you've just promoted the Philantrepreneur Foundation and your product. And so it's just tweaking the message to show and demonstrate your community engagement and it automatically takes the value of that marketing to the next level.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very good. Now, what about just thinking about maybe what are some other ways? So, joining us with System Summit is one way to get involved from a cause marketing standpoint, but a more generic way. So, when we
Okay.
start to think about some of these businesses or organizations you may support, then how would they get involved with?
Okay, let me talk about a
Other ways?
plumber. Let's
Okay.
just talk about a plumber. Okay.
Okay.
Plumbers.
Mm-hmm.
Their target audience, not surprisingly, is women. Because
Mm-hmm.
women, if something goes wrong in the house, plumbing wise, they don't waste or say, and I hate to make this a stereotype, but men might try to say, "Oh, I can fix that." Women say, no. Let's just call the plumber.
Don't you touch it. You leave it
Don't
alone.
you
We're going
touch
to
it.
call a plumber.
Let's just get it done. So there was a plumber several years ago that I helped.
Mm-hmm.
And what he did was connect with Susan J. Komen, Run for
Mm-hmm.
Breast Cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Because generally, yes, breast cancer is in both male and female, but it's predominantly women that
Right.
think about it, and
Right.
the marketing goes to.
Right.
He got at one of their runs, got a booth, and didn't talk about plumbing. Yes, his brand was on the table, but he passed out little Band-Aid package,
Mm-hmm.
the stuff
Mm-hmm.
you can buy, the swag.
Mm-hmm.
On his website, he changed part of it to pink and put a
Mm-hmm.
pink ribbon on it.
Mm-hmm.
His customer base increased by 30% within the first 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was just tweaking it to show that he understood he demonstrated his community engagement with that cause. And so that's where I said congruence of interest.
Mm-hmm.
That was his target audience,
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily his personal passion. And it's often I have to really convince someone that, yes, I'm so grateful that you have a personal passion, but is it good for your business?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I constantly say, think strategically for your business goals, not your personal goals. Now, if your personal goals just happen to align with your business, because first of all, I hope your passion is in your business. I mean, it's not always possible, but
Mm-hmm.
if you are aligning a passion that coordinates with your business goals, a purpose, then it's very easy to align the target audience, the services, and all of that evolves after that.
So I also think about some organizations that was a great example, by the way, but you start to think about, you can plug into some of these organizations that maybe you want to support and start to use the cause marketing probably in a lot of ways. And, like at local events, supporting their events, whether it's having a booth or being there working the event in some capacity and wearing your, whatever your company information or whatever. But the swag thing is a great way to get that message out there in front of people, because now, what's interesting with swag, a lot of times people just look at, I'm just going to give some pencils, or I'm going to give they just come up with some common things that they just give, but they didn't really put a lot of thought behind it. But depending on what the event is, and you come up with something that matches the event, but it has your information on it, there's that whole idea of congruency, right? Of bringing it all together into something like that. So I think that in terms of the cause marketing, we have to try and figure out how to get creative with it a little bit.
Okay, here's another example that doesn't necessarily take, so that was a plumber. So you're an entrepreneur and you are an industry expert in a specific genre, product or service. For example, I do a lot of video training.
Mm-hmm.
What if some of that video training aligns with the donors that particular nonprofits have?
Mm-hmm.
Many of the what I call C-level executive type donors give to different nonprofits, and you
Mm-hmm.
actually can look up many of those things. What if you offer to that nonprofit that they send it out because they won't give you their mailing list, but you create a video explaining something quite simple, a strategy, a tip, and say, hey, I'm donating this video to you to share with your database because I think it will help them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They send it out. You've donated it to them, but how much exposure have you actually gained from that? Because they send it out to their full database.
Mm-hmm.
Most nonprofits, mid-level to the bigger ones that have the capacity to do that, have database 10, 12, 15, 20,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's providing them with a service that is connected to what you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's just one other example.
Mm-hmm.
Out in the marketplace, there's like entertainers that will do shows for nonprofits. It was much
Right.
bigger before we got locked down. In
Right.
fact, in
Right.
Las Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world, there's a company called WIN Entertainment, and
Mm-hmm.
their whole focus is taking entertainers on their off day when it's dark. We have dark days,
Mm-hmm.
and doing fundraisers. They provide the entertainment free for this fundraiser. And
Mm.
so that's just another strategy. The strategies are almost endless.
Endless.
What
Just got to get creative, right?
you just have to think about what is the congruence of interest, who is my target audience and my goals, and who are their target audience and what are they trying to achieve, and bring the two together. And that's where impact investing comes in, where you're having an impact with what you invest.
Right, right. All right, let's shift gears a little bit and let's talk some more about System Summit. Before we dive into System Summit, though, I'm going to play this System Summit video. Ready? All right. Now, System Summits. How did that come about?
Once again, trying to serve our mission, education, awareness, and resources. We have a brick and mortar training center. We closed the doors when the pandemic came and couldn't serve our constituents in the way that we had been serving them. Fortunately, probably a year and a half prior to that, I had been researching and looking at virtual conferences, virtual summits, and things like that. I had done and created a lot of online courses. So it wasn't a new experience for me, but I had not set up the platform to actually do it.
Mm-hmm.
Closed doors makes you think, okay, I need to set up platform now.
It changes the game, doesn't it?
It makes you think quite differently. And so still trying to serve our mission, the Philantrepreneur Foundation, as an education resource. System Summits, I looked at what were the top challenges that I kept getting requests for, what were they constantly asked, and it was systems and processes. It was looking at those smaller organizations that would come to me really holding their head and saying, I don't know how much longer and they would say, I can do that. And I'm like, well, where's your support? Or don't you have this, do you have these systems in place? You shouldn't have to do it all. And by actually just introducing one or two little tips, I could see their aha moment. Oh my, okay, that would save me so much time.
Right.
Yeah, that's what systems and processes are for. And so taking that whole concept, I was like, okay, so let's build everything around that. Those that are struggling the most are micro businesses, and that includes for-profit and nonprofit.
That's
Doesn't
right.
micro business, those organizations with 5 or less. Generally, it's a solopreneur. It's
Right.
somebody trying to do and work their business independently. Many
Mhm.
home businesses and things like that.
Right.
And so it became quite evident that System Summits would be a great platform to continue our work in the marketplace. So me being me, I just went out and grabbed the domain because I didn't want it to be a one-up, because consistency is the power that you get. People will continue, they will see you as the resource and continue to come back. And so it is Systems Summits, multiple, 4 times a year,
Mhm.
with changing speakers, themes, and tools that will be presented. Yes, some will have to be presented multiple times because in education, people don't really grasp the concept unless they've seen it at least 3 times. Then they don't start using it unless they've seen it 6 times. And you have a formula for emails and customer, that gets up into the 12s and 13 times, but in
That's
learning
right.
it's 3 and
20
6.
times.
Yeah,
20 times.
yes. So they need to be reminded of what they learned before, but just how we've set it up where they can go back to these presentations over and over again if if
Mhm.
they upgrade and get that all access pass, which you're supporting a nonprofit. I hope they do that. But
Mhm.
also we're going to come out with some more tools to help them. I hope by the January event that we will have our System Summit journal that they'll be able to purchase on Amazon.
Mm.
Because even on the first one, we said, now you should have a notebook because this is going to be a lot of information. So,
That's
but
right.
System Summit invites industry leaders from across the nation. Actually, it's now going to be international because
Woohoo.
we have a partner coming on from England. It's called Entrepreneurs with a Cause. And it's a group
Oh,
that will be coming on and providing us with speakers and things like that also. So it's really exciting what is growing. And so industry leaders, influencers presenting tips, strategy, and insight on how micro businesses can be effective and efficient.
nice, nice. I want to add a comment to this whole mindset around seeing a presentation more than one time.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times people will look at a presentation and the thought is, oh yeah, I've seen that. But did you act on it? Number one. And how much of it did you actually miss during
Yeah.
that first presentation? Because, and the great example for that is when we think about movies, for instance, you can watch a movie and you say, man, that was a great movie, but it was so good you wanted to go see it again. So you did. You went to see it a second time. Then at that second time you watched the movie, you're watching and you went, wait, I don't remember seeing that the first time. How did I miss that? Well, you missed it because your brain took off on something that you saw. Your brain took off on it, and the whole thought process and coherence and everything else went with that. Didn't go with what was continuing to happen on the screen. So the second time you see it, you see more and
Yep.
you understand more and you get more. The third time you see it, you get even more out of it. And it's amazing to me that some of the trainings that I've watched or books, and I don't read books over and over again, although I read certain sections of books over and over again, because there's just so much more value to get out of it from seeing it multiple times.
I have a great example.
Okay.
Remember when I was telling you I was putting together System Summit website and using the tool that we use, blah, blah, blah. And,
Yes.
and just last week, now we've already put on a whole summit.
Right.
I was like, oh my God, everything I needed that I've been fussing about was right there. And it was in this little 10-second little clip
That's
in
right.
a much bigger video. And
That's
I was
right.
telling you, I said, how did I miss that one little piece that would have made all of this other stuff come together that we were talking about?
That's right.
And I was like, well, I guess I need to go back and watch all of those videos again. Don't
And
tell them what I missed.
that is a great point, actually, because it really does emphasize what we're talking about right here. You really have to make sure that you watch these presentations. And so therefore getting the all access pass or our summit pass or whatever, that makes all the sense in the world to go back and watch those presentations that you got the most out of. Go back and watch those again, and then implement whatever it is that the people are talking about in those presentations.
Well, that's
we have
why
to take
writing
action on
down, writing down, whether it's, whether you put it in a binder notebook or however you organize your notes for the System Summit, it's important that you write down key points for that you catch them, because they're not going to catch all of the nuggets that are dropped during a presentation. Put down the first rendition of your nuggets and then go back and here, I'm going to use my term, connect the dots.
That's right.
Of what's, what they're really trying to get you to do. It's not that you have to do everything that they say right then or for every presentation. Take the ones that fit your model best, that will take you and get you making at least baby steps in the right direction.
That's right. And it's not only even just taking that one thing or that one thing sometimes comes down to what is your current perspective, because that's going to filter what it is that you see and hear.
Yep.
And the next time you come back to something, if you come back to it 3 months later, you're going to probably come to it with a different perspective than you were at that initial time you watched it.
Totally new. And another term that I really love that we have started using that really describes what we're trying to do here. We were talking about business growth. What we're actually trying to help you do is scale. Many businesses aren't looking to be a big corporation.
Right.
They just need to be able to scale so that the business that they have is running smoothly and they're not totally stressed out.
That's right.
And so this whole scaling concept is really what we're trying to help them accomplish, to put together your systems and processes so that at times you can actually sit back and relax and enjoy yourself.
And from my standpoint, as much as I can automate it, the better. So I tend to look at these various processes in these businesses and say, how can we automate those steps? How can we automate sending out those emails in response to whatever this action is that your client or lead or potential, your prospect, whatever, that they're going to take on your website or on your social media site or wherever. How can we help you automate some of that so that now that becomes a subset of your overall system?
Yeah. And you mentioned websites. Over the last 4 months, the website has been a core tool of everything we have built out.
Right.
And the systems that we have implemented within that website, because we have email automation, we have forms to collect data, we have distribution of tickets and sales and all of the upgrades or whatever, we have access to courses and presentations, and it's all a system built into a website.
That's right.
So
that's right.
It's making our life.
Website being the hub, right?
The hub.
So the website being the hub, so that this is where people are coming into, and then various processes work off of that. So,
yeah, and like you love landing pages. That's still a website. And so you have to look at what is your business model to actually decide what type of website do you need.
That's right.
What functionality do you need initially and immediately you need that website to handle for you? Is it just pure opt-in where you're trying to build an email list or a database? Or do you want them to actually take action?
That's right.
Where you need to educate them on the value of their business or the value of your services, that how
Right.
it will impact their business, and then take that call to action to actually start doing it.
That is right. And so that's it. So it's really thinking the full process all the way through and helping to lead these people down the path that you want them to go. So,
Yes.
all right. So this has been Dr. Victoria Boyd and Stan Shields talking about systems summits and about cause marketing. If you want to get in touch with Dr. Boyd, her information is scrolling across the bottom of the screen, and I am going to put my banner up here of my appointment banner of if you would like to schedule some time with Stan Shields to talk more about any of these systems. Now, where did my banner go? How come I have everything else up here and I'm not finding mine? That is ridiculous.
Well, while you're looking for that, I just want to invite everybody back every Tuesday for our Blitzer, and that is our networking, how we're trying to support the entrepreneurs out there with a networking platform through System Summit, and then come back every Wednesday at 8:30 and join us. We're going to have a lot of tips and information, and as we get closer to the summit, we'll be able to talk about some of the speakers. We'll have some of the speakers as guests on this show, but put it on your calendar, make it a regular event that you do. I mean, it's early in the morning. You can get it in, get it done, and then carry on with your day.
That is right. So speaking of Blitzer, there is the link right there for finding us Blitzer. That takes you to our Blitzer channel, which then you'll see the various events that are scheduled on Blitzer. But it's a great way to do some breakfast networking. So come hang out with us on Blitzer, do some breakfast networking. We had a great showing, a great first event this past, well, that was yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Seems like it was longer. Seems like it was much longer ago, but that was yesterday. So we had a good event that started off yesterday, and we've already got people signing up for next week's.
Yep.
And we'll have a fun time and talking with people. And Blitzer makes it super easy and efficient to do one-to-one networking, and you'll meet people from all around the country and even international at some point, because more and more, as Blitzer grows, more and more people will be tuning in and they'll be finding these events and so forth.
Yeah, and just like I said, I just made that contact to the UK, so I'm sure we're going to have some folks from the UK coming on there really soon.
That's right. So very good. All right. So that is our show for today. Remember that if you have not already liked us or subscribed or followed, then whatever platform you're watching this on, please go and do that. Like us, subscribe, and follow, so that when we come on with a broadcast that you'll be notified of it and you can join us. And that'll be a lot of fun. We appreciate it. All right. Any parting words?
I'm just saying, go visit systemsummits.com because it has a lot of information there. If you're interested in being a sponsor, click the sponsor opportunities tab at the top. Outstanding opportunities for community engagement as a sponsor, and the prices are phenomenal for what you get. So check out systemsummits.com.
Perfect. All right, folks. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for watching. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next time on the next broadcast. On our way out, let's play the System Summit video one more time, and then we will be gone. Take care. All right, bye.